Hello everyone, this is Ashley Tucker from My Favorite Things. For my last few videos on the MFT channel, I've been doing some really colorful rainbow cards, but I thought today I'd switch it up a little bit and do a different color palette. If you hear some buzzing in the background, it's because the insects outside are really loud right now, and I can still hear them even though I'm inside, so I'm sorry if you can hear them buzzing. The stamp set that I'm using here is the Dino Adventure stamp set. I picked out one of the dinosaurs from this set and I stamped it with a Copic friendly black ink onto some Neenah Classic Crest Solar White cardstock. Now, none of the sentiments in this stamp set are very birthday themed, and I really wanted this to be a birthday card because I find myself needing birthday cards all the time right now. So I'm going to be pulling some sentiments from some other sets and combining it with this image to make a birthday card. When I started coloring in this dinosaur, you can see that I went for this really aqua green turquoisey blue color. I really thought that this is the color that I wanted for this dinosaur on the card, but after doing a little bit of thinking, I decided to change him later, and I just go over the top of him with a green marker, and you'll see me do that here in a second. So I cut him out with the coordinating die, and then I did a little bit of thinking about the card and where I wanted it to go, and I decided that I wanted the colors to be a little bit more green. So instead of coloring a new dinosaur, I just grabbed my green marker and I went over the top of the blue. And I actually kind of like the look that this creates, where you get just a kind of a tinge of that blue showing through. I do really like that blue color that he was before, and I do think it could have worked for the card, but I think that the green was just a little bit better. And that could be different if you decided to make a card like this. You might like the blue better. It's all personal taste. Right here you can see me creating the background for the card. So I have a piece of really dark green cardstock. It almost looks black on camera, but it is green. And I prepped that with a powder tool for embossing. And I stamped a background stamp on that. This is the Little Leaves background stamp. And I'm embossing that with a clear embossing powder. Now you could leave the background like this and that would be a perfectly nice background. It would look really nice. But I like to take things a little bit further. I like to add a little bit more sometimes. So I decided to grab my Distress Oxide ink in the color Chipped Sapphire, and I just blended some of that around the edge of this so you can just get a little bit of that blue color and it turns into that dark green. And then because I was just feeling like in a really crafty mood and I wanted to do some coloring, I grabbed a couple green colored pencils and turquoise colored pencils and I filled in the leaves, and I just did a little bit of this lime green on the inner part of each of those leaves. And then I took this turquoise color and I added it to the end of the leaves. Doing this is a little bit time consuming, but sometimes it's really nice and relaxing to just sit and do some really simple, easy coloring. And that's just kind of the mood I was in when I was making this card. I was just relaxing and having fun making my card. And I do really like the way that this background turned out. I think this is a background that you could use on several different kinds of cards. Looking at it right now, I really see those tropical bird stamps that came out not that long ago going really well on something like this. I grabbed one of the Slimline double-stitched rectangle dies, and I'm actually going to cut a piece of black cardstock to put my sentiment on, so you don't always have to use these Slimline dies for Slimline cards. I grabbed one of the sentiments from the Mini Birthday Messages stamp set, and I stamped that with Versamark ink, and I'm embossing it with a white embossing powder. I did stamp a second sentiment for this card to tie in the dinosaur image, and because none of the sentiments from the Dino Adventure stamp set really went with a birthday card, I decided to pull out the Cutiosaurus stamp set, which is an older set from My Favorite Things, and I picked out a sentiment from that and I stamped it with black ink onto some white cardstock and I cut it down into a strip. I then used some foam tape to pop up that larger birthday sentiment as well as the smaller sentiment strip right underneath. and I popped up that entire thing onto an A2 size card base. Once that was adhered, I grabbed the dinosaur and I added some foam tape to the head and the tail on the dinosaur so that those matched the height of the sentiment strips. And then I added some liquid adhesive to the rest of the dinosaur and I adhered him onto the card. For the embellishments on this card, I decided to go with these black sequins. I didn't want to do anything too flashy, so I grabbed these. These kind of blend in a little bit, and I just glued those down across the card with some liquid adhesive. And then to finish up the card, I just grabbed a white gel pen and I added some highlights to the dinosaur. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you really enjoyed today's card design and that it gave you some ideas and inspiration, and I hope that you'll give some of these techniques a try. I hope you have a really wonderful day today, and I'll see you next time.